doesn't want to do its job, I'm gonna actually temporarily turn my ringtone volume all the way down. There we go.
I don't think I've ever had my ringtone on ever. I always have my phone on vibrate.
Always.
Mm. It might still be Bone Trousel from Undertale,
And
and
you
it's
just
been
would
that
not
way
even know.
since. It's been that way since the game came out. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one to have for a ringtone. I've
Yeah, it's
cycled
a good
through a
one.
few. I've had the Final Fantasy Victory theme. I've had
Of course.
maybe the Chocorena, which is probably my favorite Chocobo remix.
Oh, yeah, the
Uh,
Chacarena.
yeah. I've also had Sundew Shine from Rockadoodle, which is like a great movie that hardly anybody I ever bring up to has ever seen.
Oh yeah, the movie about the Chanticleer fable that Don Bluth did.
Yeah, Don Bluth's Chanticleer adaptation.
Yeah, and
It's
it's got
great.
um what's his name? I forgot his first name. Plummer, uh, from the Sound of Music as the bad guy. He's the owl.
Yeah, yeah,
Christopher
yeah,
Plummer?
yeah.
Is that his
Yeah,
first name?
Christopher
Christopher?
Plummer and
Okay.
the Chanticleer's played by Campbell. Does a great job. Once again, Glenn Campbell making his
Dom, De-
entire living ripping off Elvis.
Dom DeLuise is probably in there somewhere.
I don't remember hearing him in there, but I wouldn't be
He's in
surprised.
like every Don Bluth movie.
Yeah, I think that's like the one he's not in.
I know there was like one he wasn't in.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. That movie actually came out like the same year I was born. Uh,
91.
yeah.
Uh.
I think it was technically it's a '92 release because a lot of its premiere was in February, but it's '91, basically the same month. I was obsessed with that movie growing up. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Don Bluth, though. I guess we could at some point. I don't know if it comes
Yeah.
back up. We're here to talk about you. We're already
Yeah.
recording, by the way. I always like to start at an awkward time without letting you know.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. I mean, I kind of figured like, hey, do we want to stop this
Hmm.
talk? Because like this sounds like good shit
No,
for
no.
the.
This is how it goes
Oh.
every time.
I guess to I guess to put a bow on that, yeah, Dom DeLuise isn't in this one,
Yeah,
but somehow,
yeah.
like
I can't
Dom
wait for this
DeLuise
stuff to
was
come back.
like, he's like the Sammy J to Don Bluth's Quentin Tarantino, you know?
Absolutely.
He's in like all of them.
And he's also the guy that got a lot of other people in there too, like Burt Reynolds. So that
Oh yeah,
analogy kind of like really fits.
yeah.
But yeah. Welcome back to the underpass. It's been a while since I've had anyone on, but
Yeah.
also specifically you. I told you too. I want these to air kind of in the order that I originally did them. But you're
Yeah.
the first person to get back to me because you're like the only person I don't have to like relentlessly nag to get onto a schedule or anything. So we're actually recording yours first. I don't know whether people will hear this one first. If it goes more than a week or so before the other two get back to me, you'll actually be the first one on there. So the audience will have known by now.
That's interesting. For shits and giggles, I actually went back and looked. Apparently, I'm number 3
Yeah.
on, and we did this like more than 3 years ago now.
I know. I haven't done an
I'm
underpass in a really long
frightened
time.
about that. A lot has happened.
Well, yours is also like the easiest one for me to get into because I really don't want to retread too much when I come back to these. But for you, we're talking about basically a completely different subject than we did last time. So I
Right.
didn't even have to go and re listen to our old one to know what to avoid. Last time, I talked to you about basically wearing the hat of an artist and illustrator. We talked a lot about traditional art and somehow I remember us getting onto like really gross feminist period paintings. We don't have to talk about that this time. We're going to talk about
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah, cartooning we can definitely talk about now.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a cool one.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is weird for me to think about that the last time we did this, I didn't even have any sort of comic in existence.
Yeah, your characters were already in existence. You were doing a lot of
Yeah,
like
I
the
had them for a while.
pre-story stuff, and we even talked behind the scenes about that. And it's like, yeah, I just don't
Mhm.
really want to talk about your project until it's actually underway and you've got something out. But now it's been long enough that you've got like a pretty decent amount of reading material for Firewood, and you're even kind of getting yourself busy in a completely different comic that spawned because you needed
Yeah,
something for a contest, which I know how that
they
is.
mhm. Which is funny because I didn't even know that I saw that Anton M actually used a character that they already had. I didn't even know I could do that. Um, which honestly, if I had known that, I probably would have just made another Firewood story. But now I have Sprint too, which is cool.
Yeah, it's fun to
Shout
have
out
more
to
than one
Anton M,
story.
by the way. I fucking Anton M makes really good stuff. I just want to say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could shout out whoever you want. This is your hour, you know.
I see. The slimy show begins, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. We're just here, hearing the cars drive by ahead of us as the
Yeah. Does
concrete
that sound
shakes
enticing
around.
to you, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know that it is raining profusely outside.
Oh my God, are you trying to
It's
make me jealous?
I am. It's dumping fucking buckets outside. I'm not even joking.
Oh God, I miss rain so much. Yeah, actually, that's
We were
another
talking
thing,
last night about how much
right?
metal loves the rain.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was actually even listening to the song "No Rain" by Blind Melon earlier, which
Mm,
almost nothing to do with it. That's just like my favorite song. But
'cause-
uh, last time I did the underpass, I was still in Texas. So it was probably the first time I'm going to let anybody know. I've been in Arizona for almost a year now.
yeah,
As of September, I'll have been here for a whole year. And it has apparently rained here more in this last year than it has in like the entire decade before, at least on average each year. Not like in total. And my roommate complained that I brought the rain with me, but it's still just not enough. It hardly rains here.
I couldn't. I couldn't live in a place that's arid. I like rain too much.
Yeah.
As much as I bitch about humidity, I need it.
Well, rain's the best part when you live in a humid place because it cuts the humidity for a while.
Mhm.
Just probably one of the reasons why I like it so much. Growing up in Texas, in North Texas specifically, where it's like super humid, it's like anytime the rain through, it's like, yes, please break the humidity, for the love of God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't this great? We get to listen to two old dudes bitch about the weather.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like any conversation between older people, which we're not
Oh
even
my
like that
god.
old, but I guarantee you, compared to like a lot of
I
the
know.
random people that'll be listening to this, right? Like there's a bunch of old heads on Newgrounds, but a lot
Yeah.
of the people that go out of their way to watch stuff and listen to stuff are probably going to be anywhere between their late teens to their early 20s.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, kids, listening to this, I'm gonna be old man slimy for a second. As you get older, you will talk about the weather more. I remember being a fucking little kid, being like, "Oh, why do old people talk about the weather so much? Oh, a nice day today." I talk about it every fucking day now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because it
I
impacts
talk
your
about it,
life
and
more.
it happens sooner than you think. I'm only in my late 20s here. Like it comes, it sneaks on you.
You know what's weird? I don't feel a difference. I think I've always talked about the weather. Like,
Really, really.
yeah, yeah, my entire. Of course, I've always hung out with older people. You know, like I was the type of guy
Yeah.
that I'd have no problem being a 10-year-old kid just sitting with the adults at breakfast while they're like drinking their coffee and just participating in the conversation. So I think I've talked about weather basically my entire life.
And I think about it, I think I used to do that at church when I was that age too. Huh.
Hmm.
Maybe we're both just old forever.
Or maybe you just don't notice how much you talk about the weather until you get old.
Yeah. Or until you talk to someone else about talking about the weather.
Oh yeah, yeah. This
Yeah.
is a weather cast now.
It is a weathercast. Anyway, shall we? Do we
Yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
to?
So we're talking about comics. I really want to break into Firewood specifically, and then Yeah, because there's more of it than there is Sprint, but we could talk about Sprint later too, if
Yeah.
as we segue over and all of that. But you've been working on this comic in actual comic form, not just pre-production for how long now?
Um, early 2023 was when I started drawing it. Like as far as writing took place a little bit earlier than that, so I guess maybe winter of 23.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think that's when you
And
started putting out like all of like your loose scripts and stuff like that too in our group
yeah,
DMs.
and I was kind of working from like a sort of a, I guess you could call it a Marvel method, even though it's just me.
Yeah,
Um, where I was just doing an outline with plot points and kind of deciding most of the nitty gritty in the thumbnails and, and placing the dialogue there and my panel layouts and all that, and with not really a target page count in mind, right?
yeah,
Um, to the point where I ended up with 40 pages. I actually made chapters 1 and 2 all at once at the same time. I really only split them into 2 chapters because they were too big to put in one post. Even after I got supporter for the bigger page count, and even after they increased the page count, it still wasn't enough because I wanted a cover illustration. So
yeah. And if you want to do a comic, especially something that's not like a short, shorts you don't need some type of cover, but anything that's like ash can size or longer, you want a cover for it. That's just kind of how
yeah,
it goes.
yeah, and I would have done a cover anyway, just because I like to paint as well. It's just something I like doing,
Yeah, I think
and
that's
it's
actually
like,
one of the
might as
coolest
well.
parts of your comics is that you have all of these nice, like traditionally painted covers.
Yeah. And I always like to leave them for last as sort of the last thing I do so that I can kind of, you know, work as much of the story in front of it into the cover as much as possible without giving it away, of course.
Yeah,
I feel like if you know what the story is, you have a better idea of what the cover should be. But
yeah. I always make my
yeah,
covers first.
mm. Really,
Yeah, but the thing is, when I'm working on something, I already know the whole story before I even get down to scripting it. Right?
mm.
Like
Mm.
I come up with my ideas while I'm walking around. Right? Like I'll go for an hour walk or whatever,
Oh, me
and
too.
I'll have like talked through the entirety of the story on that walk to myself. So I know what's going to
Absolutely.
happen, and I could just kind of pick a snapshot of what I want the cover to be.
Yeah, it's like I'm either walking or when I'm at my part-time job. That's when I seem to do a lot of writing, is
Oh
in
yeah,
my brain.
I used to do
Um,
that too when I was a
I
sign
forgot.
writer.
Forgot when did I actually finish drawing it? No way, I remember. I finished drawing it in the middle of June of that year because I wanted it to be finished before I went to Philadelphia for the first Too Many Games meetup that we all did.
Yes, yes, that tracks.
But I did not post it yet because the update was not finished yet, so I couldn't really post it yet. There were some hacky workaround ideas, but um, I had gotten word that, hey, this update's going to be really nice. It's going to work really, really well, and it does. It did. It came out really, really nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Josh Psycho Goldfish Man, for your work on this, and along with everyone else involved. Um, so it took a while for me to actually post it. I ended up posting it on October 1st, just cause I don't know. I like October. It's a nice time of year.
It is. Yeah.
It's probably my favorite time of year, not just because it has my birthday in it, but I love fall.
It's also like the premiere time of year for like anything that matters,
Uh,
whether it's like I mean you have your summer blockbusters, but honestly like the fall movies are the more
Oh yeah,
important ones. You also have like shows. The fall block is the most premiere one. Like if you want to launch something October and fall, that's the time to launch it.
yeah. Like if I really wanted it, I could just launch it in fucking January, like a dud.
Yeah.
You know, that's when all of like the garbage comes out. Please do
Yeah,
not take
yeah.
that personally if you posted something really cool in January,
No, take
person
it
listening.
personally.
Please do not.
You take it as personal as
um,
possible. Pick better times to launch your stuff.
yeah. And I
'Cause,
remember it was a very interesting launch because I was at a buddy's house in Battle Creek. I wasn't at home, so I was also it was my first time using the publish project from my mobile phone experience, and it does work. It works pretty great.
well, that's good.
Um, it was just really kind of nerve-wracking though. Um, and I think I had like reworked it a little bit, and then I posted the second part a few weeks, like a week or two later, just so that like everyone could spend some time with each part. And that's kind of how the first bits of that came out.
Yeah, which is kind of like I get the mentality of like letting people spend time with each part, but
Hmm.
that's because we're looking at it from that type of like creator perspective. When you actually end up looking into the metrics of stuff, especially when it comes to web comics specifically, a lot of people don't even start to become interested in your stuff until you have the equivalent of 5 chapters worth of reading for them to binge through.
How
Yeah,
about that?
yeah.
I, uh,
Which I mean, now, if people want to hop in, now is actually the perfect time to just get into Firewood.
it's a pretty good time. There is in fact 5 chapters available to read, and they do get better as they go on. Believe me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Like it actually starts getting into like the. I guess you would probably classify it as like that sort of supernatural, almost urban fantasy type thing, because like you leave
yeah.
the MacGuffin very vague to where you can't really tell if this is supposed to be magical, if it's supposed to be technology, like pure sci-fi or whatever. It's just kind of like in that kind of almost Spielberg esque type sci-fi fantasy genre where it's very low. It's got like this really specific cool thing about it, and all the shenanigans are wrapped around that cool thing.
And that was very much on purpose. I never wanted to like make it to where like this could be pigeonholed or something into it because I feel like if you like when you call something magic or something, they get a very specific idea of what it is and how it works and what it's about. You know,
Yeah.
especially like how like you think about how in the 60s after Tolkien came out and then all of a sudden fantasy literature started becoming very homogenized, likely partially due to publisher shenanigans, but also like people just really liking Tolkien and aping the fuck out of him.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I tend to try to, I'm not anti-genre or anything like that. I think that's a silly thing to be, but I'm not trying to like pigeonhole my story as a fantasy or a sci-fi, which admittedly makes
Yeah.
it really hard to post it on other platforms where they ask you what genre your fucking book is.
I like if they had a option for it, which a lot of platforms do. I would just be cheeky and put it in urban fantasy anyway, just because you'll get a lot of
You know,
clicks from that. You know.
people like that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People like
But
it a lot.
it's definitely that type of like I say Spielbergian because he's made a few different things like that.
I mean, I think
But
Spielbergian might be a bit of a big word, man. I don't know about
it
I don't
is.
know about that. That's a big
It is a huge word.
that's a
It's a
big
mouthful.
word, buddy.
But it's like
Ugh.
ET, right? It's like that type of story, or when other people
Yeah.
like aped off of it. Super 8 kind of falls in that type of category. It's just
Mm.
like one of those childhood adventures that kind of follows the kids, and there's like this one weird hook to the whole adventure.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be specific, my main inspiration in that realm was The Sandlot,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which oddly enough is a story that doesn't have any sort of supernatural magic BS. It's
It's
all, I mean, it kind of does, but it's all just
in their
shit
heads.
that the kids made up in their brains because they're stupid kids that are scared of a big dog.
Yeah. But it is a huge dog. Like from a kid, you can understand why that would just seem like
It was
this
a pretty big
Goliath
dog,
monster.
You know, Saint Bernards are not small creatures.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie. That's one of those ones that like I don't think I ever get tired of it. I
No,
wouldn't
you
put
can't.
it on all the time because I think I could make myself tired of it. But if it was on TV, I'd never pass it by.
I think the most impressive thing about it is that it takes place in the 50s but doesn't feel dated at all.
Yeah.
I think you
Well,
could
maybe
show it to a kid today and they'd understand everything.
yeah, I think so. Maybe it might be a little rough for some young kids just because how so many people have become just like iPad babies now. And be
Yeah,
like,
but even then,
why do
like,
these kids not have any technology or anything? But I think if any kid who spent any amount of time playing outside, I think yeah, I think they
right.
could relate to it.
And most kids do still play outside, like, let's be frank. Like,
Yeah,
not to
I
say that
just
the
think
iPad shit isn't rampant, but, you know,
I just think
kids do
in
do things.
this day it'd be easier to roll the die and find a kid who couldn't relate to it than it would have been in the past.
It's possible, but
That's just to say, like, hey,
anyhow.
if you've got kids, force them to go outside. You know,
Yeah, make
be a
your
good
kids
parent.
touch grass, you know?
Just get them some vitamin D, some sunlight and stuff. You know.
Kick them out the house, and maybe they'll find, like, some jewelry that gives them strange powers, and they'll beat people up with it. It'll be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. You know, be a responsible parent. Force your kid into
Mhm.
adventures. Give them life experience. That's what my parent did.
Yeah.
Actually, they were. My mom was very irresponsible. She used to lock us outside in the summertime.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what our parents did too. Like,
Yeah.
there are some semi-autobiographical elements to this. I will not admit which bits are, um, for legal reasons, of course. but but yeah, a lot of it is like, you know, when my best friend happened to actually live next door to me back then, so we just kind of walked around town, did whatever the fuck we wanted,
Yeah.
and that
Th-
kind of environment is where this comes from.
yeah.
The
Those were the
story, I
days.
think. Oh
I
yeah.
even more so than forcing kids outside. You clip this one bit because this show is definitely not appropriate for kids to be listening to. Absolutely not.
Hmm.
But like you can let them listen to this little section.
Hmm.
Have your friend, your kids, actually have friends that they walk around with. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily that safe to let your kids wander around by themselves, unless maybe
Oh
you have
no.
siblings. But if there's
Depends where
like
you live, of course.
a good group of friends, like if there's 3, 4, maybe even 5 of them, have them go off on adventures. They'll be fine as long as they're grouped together.
Yep. You know, have check-ins often. Uh, you know, go on adventures. No, that's kind of it. Now
That's
get the
life,
hell
you
off
know.
Newgrounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, because you know, if you actually go off and have adventures, your comic being the case in point here, it makes you a better creator, right? Like you bring that life
Oh, absolutely.
experience into what you're doing.
Hmm. You know, draw from life, write from life is how these things tend to go.
Have a life.
Yeah, have a life. Like, I remember that was something I really took to heart because when people gave me the context of like the famous Miyazaki anime is a mistake quote,
Yeah.
where he was talking about how people are taking inspiration from other media instead of from real life. I
Yeah.
I I took that I took that to great importance.
That's because like you can't avoid tropes because tropes are just a thing, you know. But you don't want your stuff to be based on tropes, right? Like if you accidentally
Yeah.
happen to use the same trope, because that's just how things ended up landing on the page, that's perfectly fine, especially if you're drawing from experience, whether it's personal or people you know. You don't have to always draw from your own experience, but you know, get out to know people, talk to people.
Oh yeah.
That gives you more things to draw from. But there's like a incestuous relationship with media right now, and I think that that's more of what Miyazaki was talking about back then, and it's even
Yeah.
worse now than it was when he said that quote. Where like you
It's
look at a
so
movie
much
now,
worse.
and there are movies being written by people who've only ever watched movies.
Hmm. I think I remember in an interview Orson Welles actually told aspiring filmmakers to not watch movies at all.
Yeah.
Like, don't watch any movies. Just make them.
Yeah, just go out there and make a work of art. That's it.
Yeah, like your life will fill in the rest or something like that.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I actually have a friend named John Dillard. He makes a comic himself, and every time somebody asks him what comics he's reading, he's like, Psh, "Only nerds read comics," which obviously he's joking about that because it's his personality. But he really just doesn't read comics. He only makes them. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think his comics kind of really stand out compared to a lot of the indie competition because he doesn't really read many comics. I mean, he some back in the day, but I think it's fine personally to hop in and read some things or watch some things in the media you're working with, especially if you want to find like techniques to tell your
Oh
story
yeah.
better. If you're film, camera angles, and special effects and stuff like that. If you're in comics, paneling techniques and everything. But you really do need to just not remake somebody else's story.
Yeah. And sometimes that can be a very sometimes you need to be a little conscious about it, but oftentimes you really don't,
Yeah, because there's
especially
nothing new
if
under
you
the sun.
you just lean into yourself is the most important thing. Don't
Absolutely.
sweat the fact that your early stuff just kind of looks like a shitty ripoff of Brian Lee O'Malley. That was a real throat clear, by the way.
Oh,
That
okay.
was re-
It was hard to tell whether that was forced or not.
no, the point is the same, but it was still
Yeah,
very real.
yeah. It was just good timing. Yeah, I think one of the big things about that too is if something does inspire you, you shouldn't necessarily avoid it either, right? You
Yeah,
should just you shouldn't worry too much about things, right? I think that's the bigger problem. A lot of stuff
yeah,
becomes incestuous and trope heavy, and like I said, it gets written by people who have only ever
mm,
engaged in the media and nothing outside of it. But part of that also comes from a fear of your thing not being successful, which tends to not be as much of a problem in the indie sphere anyway. Like most people listening to this probably won't have that problem unless there's
yeah.
somebody who's only ever written fan fiction their entire life. Then like seriously, get off the fan fiction. It's a horrible drug that is ruining your ability to create. You probably have some great ideas, and that story would be so much better if you just replaced everyone with original characters.
Yeah.
But you like two extreme ends of the spectrum, and if you're just like an indie creator that's somewhere in the middle, you're probably fine as long as you just be true to yourself, right? Don't worry what other people think about it. Don't try to be more like the story just because you know the thing you like was successful. Just do what you think is fine, and just be genuine about it, and you'll probably find some other people who like what you're making.
Because I guarantee you, like all of the fucking like more popular indie creators out there were doing what we are describing,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
they are successful indeed. Like like I don't think Brian Lee O'Malley was like super like going at Scott Pilgrim with like a pair of tweezers to make it like a success. I mean, it really even wasn't a success for a good long while.
Oh yeah, it was like
You
a
know?
probably cult following for a bit, and then it became
Yeah.
like super successful. About the time the movie finally came out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember in one of his behind the scenes, goodness, snippets, he said the first book didn't even sell that particularly well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's
Well, I
kind of
think
one of
that's
those
like
things.
that's just the part about being like an indie creator, right? You don't have a publisher
Mm.
behind you, or
Yeah,
actually you could get an agent. Believe it or not, you
yeah,
could
you can
get an
get a
agent
book
though.
agent.
Like
Yeah,
that's perfectly fine. That'll help you a lot. But because you don't have like this big publishing company or even a medium-sized publishing company behind you, you have to do everything
right.
yourself, and it could take forever to find your audience. And you shouldn't
Yeah,
let that discourage you. There's some people that they're working on stuff for 2 decades before it actually ends up working out. And the cool thing is, as long as you keep at it, when your audience does find you, then you've got 2 decades worth of stuff that they can all just like bury themselves in. You see like a
yeah.
big shoot up. It's like, oh shoot, all your stuff's available on print on demand over the next like year. Let me go pick them up piece by piece.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like these things take time sometimes. Like to once again use Brian Lee O'Malley as an example. People forget Scott Pilgrim was his second big project. He had a whole
Yeah.
graphic novel that he did before that, and then a bunch of other like random strips here and there. Like
Yeah, like his what was it, Leviathan or whatever, his kind of like Lovecraftian whale hunt story. I can't remember the name of it.
Lost at
Um
Sea.
Lost at Sea, that was it. Yes.
I've been meaning to read it. I cannot hunt down a copy for the life of me. I don't know why, and I know it's still in fucking print. So I don't know.
The
I
demand's
guess
just not
Barnes and
very
Noble
high.
hates me. I don't know. I could just use the internet like literally everyone else, but I like going to bookstores. Sue me.
Same. Yeah. Like you could just get one on Amazon like super easy right now if you wanted to, but I also like going to bookstores.
Mhm.
It's like the smell of a bookstore,
Good smell.
the environment,
Great smell.
everything. I could spend hours in one.
Sometimes you find some interesting books there too. You know, like that went to the art book section. They have a fucking art book about that. What was that guy that draws all the like the black and white drawings with the dudes with the big pant bulges? Really, like like the really famous homoerotic artist. They got like a coffee table book of him now.
I don't know who you're talking about off the top of my head.
You sure you don't? You sure you're not just trying to cover your ass?
No, I cannot picture who you're talking. I mean, I probably like know who you're talking about, but based on your description, I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
point is, these things take time.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
You
but the
know,
thing is, too, just get working.
don't get yeah, just get working. That's what we're really trying to get at is make the damn thing. And it literally, you know, literally everybody says this. They say it for
Yeah,
a reason.
yeah. Well, because like I actually got into an
You
argument
know?
with somebody recently about the whole like world building is a trap. It's
Oh
absolutely
God,
just a trap. You know.
world building. Don't even get me started on magic systems, dude.
Yeah, no, screw anything. Screw your magic system.
Ugh.
Screw your specific physics that work in that world. Trying to figure out all this way to explain stuff. You could do that retroactively. Just go and make a
Yeah,
damn story first. You know?
yeah. Because it's like this is gonna sound really harsh, but it is the truth. At the end of you can talk about how great your magic system is and how great your world building is and all the 50 million races you made for your big fantasy epic that's going to last like 30 volumes. At the end of the day, you know, my comic exists and yours doesn't,
Oh yeah.
buddy. So
It's
go fix that, please.
yeah. Go first. Go fuck yourself. Then go fix it.
Yeah, then
Like
go fix. Yeah. Go fuck
seriously.
yourself relative to how pompous you are at any given moment and then please go make your book.
Because like seriously, if you don't have anything for somebody to read, nobody gives a shit about your world's mechanics, your magic system. Nobody gives a shit
Yeah.
about your
I mean, someone might, but like,
geopolitics. No one
oh,
gives a shit about the history of your world. Nobody cares that like the reason your moon is always a half moon is because it's literally a half moon and an asteroid hit it like 50 million years ago. Like, none of that shit matters until somebody's already invested in your story and you need something for them to be invested in. You could retroactively add all that shit.
yeah. And that was definitely something I had to get over when I was starting out because you know I had the characters for a good while. You know this.
Yeah.
At least at least a year before I started actually um, writing and making the story. And that's not advice, by the way. That's
Yeah,
not a
no.
good thing.
You're still better off than a lot of people, though, because at least you were doing something with your characters. You were doing like a lot of promo art. I really liked the kind of mixed medium where you were like drawing your characters over real environments. I thought that stuff was
Oh, yeah,
really
that
cool.
was fun.
Yeah.
I remember doing those. Those were
But there's a
old.
lot of people like they will make art of the characters just so they have art, but then they won't even share it with anybody. They'll just like sit on them forever. It's like, well, I don't want to start promoting anything until I actually have a story ready. It's like, okay, when the fuck are you gonna get a story ready?
Mean, there's a bunch of fucking old drawings of Polly and company before the comic ever even dropped. Hell, I'm pretty sure the first technical like appearance of the characters was in the Summer Lovin' collab that Brandy did,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
animated them on the beach to the third rates that Corey Spaz Kids ska band because they make good music.
Yeah,
And
I
I,
remember
I
seeing that.
decided to pick that song to put them to that. That was like one of the first like big projects that had those three in it. It wasn't even the story.
Yeah, which is a good thing to bring up. It is important to work through your characters as well. Like, don't world build, right? Unless it happens naturally. Like, if you're working on the project and you think to document something or work through something, that's different, right? What we're basically saying is like, don't spend weeks or whatever working on something that's not even directly impacting the story you're currently supposed to be working on. But like working through your characters is a very important aspect of creating them, especially in a visual medium, because it's not just about like having their personalities written down. You kind of have to like feel your way through how the characters are presented visually. So that's a
Yeah.
fine thing to do.
I I really like to approach characters like I'm kind of like I'm meeting someone for the first time and I'm slowly finding something
Yeah.
finding out new things about them as I go. Just so that like I'm getting a very gradual feed of information about a given person and that way I can kind of sort of make somebody that's beyond myself a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
You're making like a model of a real person that exists in your head.
Mhm.
Speaking of
Exactly.
models of things that exist in your head, let's actually start breaking down. I want you to, as best as you can, in the period of time that we have, explain to me Firewood. Even though I am somebody who caught up to date and because we're in back channels together, probably know more about it than most other people in general, aside from yourself, the creator. There are a lot of
Right.
people listening to this. So explain to me Firewood as best as you can, and also why people should be reading it.
I see. I see. So Firewood is a comic, believe it or not. It is a comic about three friends, and that is essentially the core of the story. It has plenty of supernatural elements, a lot of action. It is at its core a story about friendship. I set out to make a sort of a story about relationships in general, and then I narrowed in onto specifically like friendships among young kids and these three young kids specifically, and sort of not just the dynamics, but also perhaps the stability of such a relationship. Because you think about how kids are, they are developing relationships that are extremely important, but they don't necessarily have the wherewithal to know how important that is.
Or
It's
how
kind of
fragile they
like
are.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing with a priceless Ming Dynasty vase. You know what I mean? They're like
Absolutely.
they're on cloud nine doing it. They're having the time of their life. But if they slip up, something bad can happen. And that's like it's sort of wrapped in this supernatural small town America type story. But I always aim to keep the focus on the relationship between the three leads.
Yeah, and that's good because like any good story is character focused first, and if it's a story about not just one character, all three, it has to be about the dynamics between them.
Mhm. So really, if you like that sort of imagery, like sort of supernatural, small town, if you like The Sandlot, but also if you like, good drama with between friends, or if you just feel like, hey, I want to remember those times of being a middle schooler on summer vacation and being a fucking shithead, give Firewood a look at. I think it's
Yeah,
got plenty of all of that.
it's um, it's less horror related, like at all, but like you could throw it in the same type of stories as like It or Stranger Things or Actually, something that's not horror, but also by Stephen King. The Body, or the movie version, Stand By Me, right? Where it's just like about a group of friends doing a thing in this kind
Uh,
of like tighter environment. It's almost like a bottle story.
yeah, absolutely. I definitely it's not a sprawling adventure. It really just does all take place in this little town. But I think I like that. I like smaller stories like that.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a more personal connection to what's going on when a story's that small.
mhm. Now that you mentioned Stand By Me, I should mention this is not a story for children necessarily. There's a lot of bad words in it. Yeah, which is on purpose. You know, it's funny. I always found it amusing how kids media will have middle schoolers as characters, but they can't talk like middle schoolers because middle
Oh yeah.
schoolers are fucking foul mouths.
Oh yeah, that's when I
They
first
all
started
are.
swearing.
Yeah, I mean, I technically started swearing earlier, but that's just because um, my grandma did a hard break when I was in the car, and I was like 4 years old. She gave me a vocab lesson, but um, I definitely wanted to lean into a more realistic depiction of that time in
Yeah, I would say
someone's life.
it might even still be appropriate for some of the people that are the same age, but only with that whole like PG or PG-13 of parental guidance. A kid
Yeah,
shouldn't be reading this unless you are a parent, you know your kid, and you're like, my kid can handle this. So you got to read it first.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that.
You know, that used to be what parental guidance means, and now like
Yeah,
everybody's so like, I don't want to have to pay attention to what my kids are doing. So you know, this is fine for them, right? It's like those
PG
parents
rating,
that
the
brought
fall
their
from
kids.
great fall from grace.
Yeah, it's like those parents that brought their kids to watch Deadpool just because he was a comic book character.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine. You know, you get to the strip club scene where Stan Lee's there. I saw that movie with my mom and I was uncomfortable. And I was a
Yeah.
grown, I was a grown ass adult. Like,
Yeah, there's a really strong R rating on that for a reason.
that's a hard R-rated movie, son.
And then they were getting mad. It's like, I brought my kids to see this. It's like, why? Did you not see the rating
Right?
of the movie?
Did you not see the big R-shaped letter next to the rate next to the movie?
Like, if I had a 13-year-old that I knew very well could handle it, I'd probably take them after I had already seen the movie myself. And because, like, the first time you don't even know
Yeah.
what's in the movie to know if your kid
Oh,
can handle it or
absolutely
not.
not. You have no idea. You have
But
absolutely
also,
no idea.
I think we've talked about this before too, right? Where because you've asked me, hey, what's appropriate, and I'm like, I have no idea what's appropriate because like
Yeah.
the way that we grew up, very close to the same time, and I'm guessing our parents were probably similar on this. We have very hard time figuring out what is appropriately rated for like
Right.
especially language. I remember when I was young, like my first rated R movie was The Patriot, and I saw it the year it hit VHS. So I was like 7 years old, you know,
Oh
or
wow.
whenever that happened, you know. Like I didn't see it in theaters, but my dad did, and he bought it on VHS. Like it came out like a year later, and I saw it. So it's like
Yeah.
my dad was very loose. My mom was stricter, but she didn't pay attention to everything that he did. He and his twin brother would have me like watch SNL with them when I was that age too. So like I have a very distorted view of what is appropriate for a child. But I also
Yeah.
think it's, you know, I was more mature for my age, and my dad knew that, so he would let me watch that stuff. And I think that's where my view of like it's fine as long as you know the child, have a relationship with your kid.
Right. And that's kind of why I'm like, look, everyone is so different. Everyone grows up differently. I just make the thing,
Yeah,
you know. This is that end of the customer experience is not necessarily my job.
you know, it almost never has been the creator's job. I think it's just because we're in this indie sphere that we have to do all of that work ourselves. When like an agent or
Uh-huh.
a publisher would be, or the production company would be the ones that would put the rating down. And it's like, yeah, no, we don't have to worry about it. We just make the stuff.
Yeah. Look, I just draw the online funny book. That's
Yeah.
all I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Man. But I would not recommend anyone read my books either if they're like young or
Yeah.
maybe old. I don't know, but like they're definitely not appropriate for people maybe under the age of like 12 or 13 for sure. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I don't. I'm making some stuff that is, which one of the things I'll be talking about with Phasma whenever I can actually get her on.
Oh yeah.
You
You
know,
two are like working on like an all ages thing, aren't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That'll be fun. But
That sounds cool.
something that seems mildly more appropriate, given the fact that the show's about you, is Sprint, which seems to be about the same age group as what Firewood would be directed for. It's just what I've seen so far. I'd be slightly more comfortable giving that to a younger kid than I would Firewood. And
Oh
maybe
yeah, I
that's
think
just because
the
it's in a short format, and you really haven't been able to dive into it yet.
well, honestly, I think the worst word that even comes up in Sprint is damn. Like I think
Oh
Valomo
yeah,
says damn once,
yeah, and
and that's
I've
it.
seen that in like video games when I was a
Hmm.
kid that were targeted towards like all age audiences. So that damn's not the worst.
No, I mean damn's in the Bible. Come on.
Well, everything's in the Bible almost.
I mean ass is in the Bible. I don't think
Yeah.
bitch is in the Bible. Is bitch in the
I think
Bible?
it's been maybe translated out.
Probably.
Yeah, there was especially for like all of history, there's always been some form of like calling someone a female dog as an insult,
Yeah. Well, I can
right?
guarantee fuck's not in the Bible though.
No, but there is sex in the
Well, yeah,
Bible,
but
so yeah.
no, but when people say fuck, they don't necessarily mean sex. But
No, no,
even
no,
when they talk about sex in the Bible, they don't say fuck.
no. I don't believe they do.
They don't.
Yeah, yeah,
If fuck was said in the Bible, I would have learned about it sooner.
yeah. But there is fucking in the Bible.
There is fucking, absolutely.
It's absolutely necessary.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah, none of us
Holy
would be
shit,
here if there
lot,
wasn't fucking.
right? Anyway, fucking Sprint, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
we're
Yeah,
on?
fucking Sprint.
Sprint. I don't know, what do you want to know
Yeah,
about it?
everything that is currently available.
Ev- Everything. Okay. I mean, do you want to? You want me to start with like the inception, like where it came from?
Absolutely, and I also want to hear about your Final Fantasy character.
Oh right. Oh yeah. I guess I do have to mention that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it begins here with, of course, the New Rounds Jump contest, which was the catalyst by which that story was born.
And I
And like
also
you
decided
know,
to sit out on because I have this bad habit of not doing what I'm supposed to be doing by hopping into a contest, and then I have yet another story that's going to sit there completely untouched.
exactly. Uh, it's a rough one. I don't know. I bounced around a bunch of different story ideas. Most of which went nowhere. I kind of had a vague idea of what I wanted to draw, which I feel like is where a lot of my stories start.
Yeah, they seem to start
I
from like
just
the
random
drafting
drawings I
table.
make.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I drew like Polly lifting some shit with her powers at some point. Was like, all right, I can work this. Um, and this story started where like, um, I kind of wanted to do something that involved a race of some sort. I wasn't really sure about the logistics of it. I wasn't even really sure about the character. Um, and I'm also a big fantasy guy. I like, I like, goblins, gnomes, elves, all that shit. And for some reason, something possessed me to just. I still have this drawing. I actually have it out. Because I was looking at it again. I just decided to draw a gnome in like a racing fire suit, like from
Oh
like a
yeah, yeah.
motorsport fire suit. Um, and that was kind of the first drawing of Gordolo I made, kind of. Um, so I started pulling from some other things like the his name specifically I swiped from a tabletop campaign that we were doing,
That we'll
which
eventually
was
get back to someday
yeah
in the
we're
future.
maybe someday, which was a which was a it was a Final Fantasy a homebrew tabletop, and I made a Taru Taru Blue Mage, and I guess if you're not super up on Final Fantasy, specifically the MMO side of things, Taru Taru are the sort of gnome race from Final Fantasy 11. They are very
Yeah,
small. They got little.
they're like halflings.
They're like halflings. I know. I'd say they're a lot smaller than halflings, though. They're really tiny.
They are, but as far as like how they're used lore wise, they're kind of closer to halflings. So they're kind of like
Yeah.
playing with all of the tiny races from fantasy, just kind of merged together.
Yeah. And a blue mage is like a funny mage that uses monster abilities.
Yeah,
And so I made like sort of a mage that's kind of an outdoorsman and is really cantankerous. Um, and visually, the character is mostly the same in Sprint.
yeah. It's actually my
Obviously,
favorite character in the campaign so far.
he's a lot of fun. Personality-wise, I don't think they're very similar at all.
No, I
Um,
would agree.
um, like I said, the version of him in the campaign is very cantankerous. He's like in his late 20s, but he talks like he's in his 50s. And he smokes like a motherfucker. Um, I think Gordolo is a bit more spry, a bit more youthful, a bit a bit more happy, a bit more go and go get him, you know. The Goku get him attitude, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. He's got a bit more of a nurturing side to him too.
Oh yeah, very much on the nurturing side. Which is interesting how that occurred. That turn ties back into developing the actual story, where I sort of had it where okay, so he's a gnome. I guess he can run fast. I don't know. Does he have like friends of any kind? Well, no. Like people are kind of against him for some reason. Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe he's got a friend that people don't like. Maybe his friend's a human. And so I originally envisioned like an adult female friend of his, and they kind of played off each other in sort of a bantery relationship, like they've been friends for a while. But then I didn't really think that was strong enough of a motivation for him to want to do the things he did. And then gradually they became closer. The character aged down slightly, and then it became, oh, it's someone he's taking guardianship of temporarily for a while. And then that didn't seem strong enough to me either. So now it's okay. She is a kid, and he is taking care of her because literally no one else can or will.
Yeah, she's his ward.
Yeah, a ward. And that's how that relationship developed. And that also helped me develop the villain a bit more, Velomo, because without something like that, I felt his motivation was a little too petty,
Hmm.
especially given what he did.
And
Um,
now there's like you've got like this very almost like strict prejudice driving it, which I think is a much stronger plot point.
yeah, yeah. And it's made like ever so slightly heinous by the fact that Yolanda's just a kid, but Veloma is just so consumed by his own hatred that he kind of doesn't. It's almost impossible for him to see Yolanda as anything other than like just a human
A,
creature.
like a bomb waiting to go off.
Yeah, bomb. Yeah, I think that is a
She's
good
cute
way to look
now,
at
but
it.
one day she's gonna be one of
Yeah,
those awful humans.
yeah, a bomb, which is actually pretty funny considering what happens in the story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and at that point, the story finally managed to sort of make itself, a lot of that was also born of the page limit. Making a story in 15 pages is really hard, you guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, that's one of the reasons
Especially
why
a
I tell
one
people.
shot.
I always tell
Mm.
everybody start with shorts, right? 50 pages. That's actually more of like an ash can, is what we would call it in like the traditional industry. But
Yeah.
always start with shorts because if you cannot write a good limited story, is like I say, a good one to start with is maybe like a 4-page short. If you can't write a compelling story in that small word count, you are gonna or word page count, you're gonna struggle to make a story
Yeah.
that keeps people's attention when you start hitting 20, 30, 40, 100 pages.
Yeah. And I'll admit, like, I'm someone who did not do shorts at first, and I definitely wish I did start with shorts. Not to say I don't like Firewood or how it turned out. But it would
But
have been a little easier to
retroactively,
make it.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, man, I probably could even made Firewood stronger if I had started in this direction.
Hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I think it helps that I kind of view each chapter as sort of its own project,
Yeah,
so I can
definitely.
kind of say that I've moved on to the next thing. But there's definitely still an overarching story that I'm playing into, whereas with Sprint, it was very much a one and done type thing at the time. Uh, but yeah, the
Also,
15 page count.
15 pages, such a weird page count too.
It is
Like,
weird. It is weird.
why?
No shade to the contest. Why 15?
Yeah, it's like,
Why an odd number?
do you guys not know that for the most part, comics have to be divisible by 4? I guess it's because they don't have to think about print, but it was like
Yeah, because it
Jump
is a
was an
digital
homage,
contest. Yeah.
right? It was an homage to Jump, which is a print magazine, and all
Yeah.
of their chapters are usually divisible by 4, and if not, they find some other way of like padding it, whether
Yeah.
it's
And a
like
standard
art
a
or
standard
something.
jump if I remember, a standard jump chapter is kind of roughly the same as an American floppy,
It'll be about
like
20.
somewhere in the 20s. And then the
Yeah.
one shots or like the pilots are usually more.
Yeah, they could
They're
be anywhere between
usually
30 to
bigger.
50,
Like I
depending on the.
actually
Yeah.
funnily enough, I have something one of my old friends gave to me a long time ago. It was a copy of the American run of Shonen Jump, and it's actually got the um, first chapter of Stardust Crusaders in it as like a special
Nice.
premiere, which is really cool.
That's old. That's got to be like what, 1992 or I don't. I'm trying to remember when it came here, but
I don't
like.
know. This is from 2005,
Oh, okay.
August
So
of 2005.
they took an old story and they put that in as like the premiere. Got
Yeah,
it.
well, because JoJo took forever to get to the West
Yeah.
in the first place, because they started like they really didn't care about bringing it over until APPP did the OVA for Stardust Crusaders, and they really started there. Like I don't think we saw Phantom Blood until the 2012 anime.
Oh no, and that didn't hit here until like the manga until Tankoban of it were being put
Yeah,
on shelves.
yeah. I think they
I
were
just
gonna
always
try something. They were definitely gonna try something with the movie, because
yeah.
Studio APPP also did that, but they didn't like the movie.
Mm. Yeah, I just always kind of remember when, like the year that Stardust came out. Not the exact year, but the time, because I know it came out between Final Fantasy 3 and 4, when it originally came out. And that's how I place it in my head. But this for a
Fucking
specific
nerd.
reason. There's a specific reason for that, right? And that's
That's
because
awesome.
Death 13 says Lolly Ho in it, and a lot of
Oh
people
right,
used
I
to
guess
think that Final Fantasy 4
that is a
was
4
referencing.
reference in it.
Well, so it
I didn't
actually
think
came out
about
before
that.
4. So people used to think 4 was
Really?
referencing Stardust Crusaders because a lot of people didn't play 3. There's actually a reference to the dwarves in 3. That was the first time.
Or the
Lolly Ho
dwarves in
was said.
3 first? I haven't played 3.
Yeah, yeah. So it was referencing 3, but a lot of people thought that 4 was referencing it. So it's kind of just like a
I
funny
see.
situation.
That's really funny.
Hmm.
Huh. Anyway, Sprint, where were we on that?
Let's see. Bombs, page count, limited
Yes.
page count.
Yeah, limited page count. It helps. Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about how weird the page count was for the contest. Um, Anyway, I mean, even besides that, it was a really fun contest. Um, a lot of people made some really cool stuff. Shout out to the winners of that. There's some really cool things submitted to that contest.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of talented people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, hey, we've come to the hour. We can
Have we
keep
come to
going
the
if you
hour?
got a little bit more to say, if you want to wrap things up or whatever. But we have hit my mandatory hour.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I have too much else to say. I mean, at least about the production of Sprint. I guess if I'm going to shill to the audience, if you really like sort of a more heartfelt story with a healthy amount of racing in it, and some gnomes, if you like gnomes, you like cool
Well,
gnomes.
you get the double factor. You get racing and racism. Like, how can you go wrong with that?
Exactly. Fantasy racism with
Yeah.
gnomes in it.
I guess if I want to wrap up anything, we'll spend just a little bit longer because we didn't talk about this. How do you feel about working on comics now that you've been working on them for a little bit? Like, the whole process. Like, how do comics feel to you?
It's a really hard thing to. Actually, no, it's not. It's a lot of work for one. I mean, I imagine it's not that far off, at least from my experience as animating goes, because I do animation sometimes,
Yeah.
and I do think that there is a similar amount of laboriousness that goes into it. The reason I find comics so appealing is the fact that I can tell a very big story all by myself.
Yeah, it's like
Like
the same amount of
I
work
can tell
hours
some.
you would put into animation, you can get further in a
Yeah,
comic.
absolutely. I could not. If Sprint was a cartoon, I wouldn't be able to tell it in the time frame that I did. I don't even want to think about firewood in that
Oh yeah,
context.
dude, Sprint we
Um,
would have gotten like 3 minutes tops, and that's if you started
that's
earlier.
you'd be lucky to get 3 minutes of finished animation. But yeah, it's a very appealing medium for me to me for that reason.
You know,
Um, and also I like to draw as well, so I have a very distinct visual style I want to communicate, which is what makes it appealing to me over something like prose.
yeah. Comics really captured the illustrator's heart.
Mhm. I will say that the writing side of things is still pretty hard for me. I mean, I've always been able to kind of write. I did pretty well in English, and I did well on papers and whatnot. Some
Yeah,
both nonfiction and fiction papers, I guess you could say. But as far as stringing stories and characters and narrative and setting and theme together, it's still pretty new to me.
yeah,
So a lot of it is kind of an exercise. Um, I will say, and this is probably true for mediums that aren't strictly comics, the feeling of getting one done and releasing it and seeing that chapter count go up is a kind of high that is a little dangerous for me.
I think it's dangerous
Um,
for a lot of creators too.
yeah,
Because it's like, oh yes, that's one more towards the goal. It's like, what's the goal? I don't know. Number go up.
exactly. I don't know. It's just kind of it's just funny to think about because there was very much a time, like the last time we recorded, where I wasn't doing this sort of thing.
Yeah,
And now it's kind of hard to imagine myself not doing it at any point. I remember there was a good gap of time between Chapter 5 of Firewood's release and me starting working on Sprint.
yeah.
And I was feeling all fucking weird and jittery about it. And then I sat down to start drawing page 1 of Sprint, and I'm like, fuck, yes. This is my fucking ass like settled into the chair. I was like my arm was moving. I was barely even thinking. It was like some kind of meta meditation or something. I don't know. Some kind of wicked voodoo magics, man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. It's almost like it possesses you.
It really, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've come under some kind of curse. I really
Yeah.
do.
Well, you know what? I think as making comics is kind of a curse. You're like, it's fun to do, but man, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know that part of the earlier of the show where we were telling y'all to stop fucking pussyfooting around and make your story? Never mind, don't make it. Don't make comics. Don't do it. Don't do it ever.
No, go make your
Fucking.
story. Just don't
Oh yeah.
don't waste your time with comics. Like honestly, if I were to recommend anything to somebody, and this probably comes, I'm a little more into the writing side than you are, but both of us are people that we work in a lot of different mediums of storytelling. Prose is kind of like the cheapest, the easiest, and quickest one to get into. Is the quickest one to even like develop skills in as well.
hmm
If I wanted to tell somebody just put something out there, I would tell them to start writing like web novels or but still shorts, like write some short stories. But I would tell them
Yeah.
to jump into that direction. I wouldn't tell them to just like jump into comics out of nowhere, even as fun as
hmm
they are, because comics are like we were saying with how long it takes to maybe even kick off. They're long to make. Finding an audience is hard, and it
Yeah.
takes a really long time for unless you're only writing short stories for you to actually see the results of your story. Right. Well,
Mhm.
like prose, man, I could write a book in like a month if I was
Yeah.
just sitting down and that's all I was doing, like redoing my
Yeah.
drafts and everything. I could write a whole novel in just a month and I'd be fine. I could see the
Yeah.
results of that almost instantly.
Prose comes out as quickly as you can type it. You know, like.
Yeah.
I guess so. I guess if you really just want to get a story out really fast, just do prose. If you really like the visual side of things and don't mind being taken over by a spirit of questionable morality, the comics are pretty great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I don't think being taken over by the spirit of Steve Ditko is questionable morality.
Oh, yeah. I think he would. I think he would have words about that. About. Did we talk about objectivism last time too?
I don't recall. I
I
didn't
think I
rewatch
name
it.
dropped C.S. Lewis and everything.
Maybe. Oh,
Like, honest to God.
though I think that's probably a pretty good note to end things out on.
I think
Um,
so. Yes.
like normal, this is going to be up on Newgrounds, and I'll probably also have it scheduled to show up on my personal YouTube channel like 6 months after this because I have a couple I need to go back and upload anyway. So people will be able to find you through the list of people who worked on this, because Newgrounds
Yeah, the
projects
credit
are
system
great.
will have me down in there, but
That's
if
great.
for
I
some
love it.
reason,
And there'll be
for
stuff
some reason
below
you can't
too
read,
in the
yeah,
description, but you could find Slimy Goo like anywhere.
I do be plays. If there's someone named Slimy Goo, it's probably me. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm on Newgrounds. I'm on Wit, Graham, the Blue Skies, those places.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, I guess if I could say anything at the end is that, I remember saying that the multi-image update was going to be cool for Newgrounds, and I still stand by that. There's a lot of good comics on there. Go ahead and go read them. Not just mine. Mine are pretty cool, I think. But there's a bunch of other ones out there, like
Like mine.
yeah, like Metal. Metal makes great comics. Do you post them on Newgrounds or just on
I
your
have
website?
not posted X Dynamis Chaos in a while, but also to be fair, I think there's only a couple pages that aren't on Newgrounds. I've been meaning to
Mhm.
like go back and just remove all of the chapters of EDK and just, or not necessarily remove it, but like remove all the individual pages and
Yeah, make
clump
it a bit
them,
more of a
yeah, like
cohesive,
onto the upload that has the chapter cover already.
make it a little
Instead of
neater.
re-uploading it. Yeah, I already did that for the on tour shorts. I got rid of all of like pages 2 through 8 of each of them, and then just like re-put them onto the page 1 upload so people can read those pretty neat. Um,
Yeah,
Eventually, I'll solve that. Though I don't know what to do with Realms and Relics other than I guess maybe I might take all those down and just re-upload them because it's one chapter that is too long for a single thing. So I might have to actually kind of do like what you did before you officially split them into chapters and do like a part one.
Yeah, I did it. I tried to hide that one.
Yeah, yeah. So I might have to
Tried
do
to do a
that.
sneaky.
Though people should go and
Um,
read the Bodacious Bikini Battle Babes of British Bay. That's probably one of the
oh
best
yeah,
things
you
to
did
put
that
up
for
on.
the you did that for the other comic
Yeah, for
contest that I
Kitty
didn't
Hawk's
participate.
Kitty Hawk's Sweet 16 contest.
Yeah, it's like this. It's similar except one less page.
Yeah, Sweet 16 just having
Mm.
to be the theme was just a better page count in general.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got other
Metal's got
friends.
good stuff.
Phasma's got stuff you should read.
Phasma's got Corvid Kid. I mentioned Anton M.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Orla's earworm. That is way harder to say out loud than I thought it was going to be. Orla's earworm. That's a
Yeah.
good one. A lot of people know about Snackers' comic Skelty Castle. That's a good one. Bury Everyone by One Grumpy Lumpy is a favorite of mine. Bro does really good full color shit, by the way. I
Yeah.
don't know how. Stratemeyer has a really cool one shot about his goons. It's called 100's First Day. You can look that up. It's probably some I'm fucking missing. There's so
I'm
many.
absolutely not going to put any of that stuff in the description because I'm too lazy. But hey,
No, you
you'll
don't have
access-
to.
You'll have access to the project file if you want to put it in
I mean,
there.
people
you
have
remember so you
ears. They can listen and type it in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Inu makes comics on here.
I remember when
I
I
don't
had
think it's-
Brandy on. He insisted that I put in everything that was mentioned on there. I'm like, Brandy, I'm not looking it up. He's like, fine, I'll get you all of the links. I'm like, yes, if you get me the links, I'll put them in the description.
I mean that in the nicest way possible. That is so him.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, fucking Hagnus the Barbarian by Wubble64. That's
Yeah.
a really good one. Kind of gives me Bone / Scotty Young vibes.
Those are good vibes to get from something too.
Those are some good vibes. I picked
Yeah.
up an issue of I Hate Fairyland while I was in Toledo, and I'm meaning to get in the rest of the series now. That shit's really good. I actually got one of the issues that just says "Fuck Fairyland" on it
Nice.
because I've noticed some of them just say "Fuck Fairyland" instead of "I Hate Fairyland." I've also been meaning to check out the adaptation he did of Oz with Eric Shanower because that looks really cool.
I've never read it. That actually sounds good.
I've never read it either. I don't know how it is as far as adaptations of Oz go. From what I understand, Eric Shanower basically does nothing but Oz and like a couple other things, and Scotty Young does the art, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It sounds like a
I don't know
good time.
what-
Even if it's not a good adaptation, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I don't know what else is there. I don't know. I guess it's not posted on the website, but Harry Partridge did make a graphic novel for Starbarians if you want to give him money.
I remember that. Yeah. People
Yeah.
should check that out too. Because Harry
Yeah, I need
is
to
such
check it
a
out.
great creator.
We love Harry. We love Harry.
But yeah, and we will be talking about comics again sometime
Oh yeah,
soon.
yeah.
We're gonna there's since if things do go in the order, because I am specifically talking to my first three guests again. This should be number 3, unless too much time passes and I just put you up anyway. So soon, whether it's the next Underpass or the one after, whatever, when I can get both you on, you, I, and Phasma will be discussing a webcomic kind of like round table with our experience of webcomics and stuff in general. So that'll be a fun time.
Yeah. You want to hear a bunch of creators bitch?
Yeah.
I mean, like you haven't been listening to that for the past hour or so.
With like various
Coming head on down.
levels and years of experience. I think that's actually
Absolutely.
the thing that will make it the most fun, because I've been doing webcomics longer than either of you, but it's almost staggered. So like each of us started doing a different comic at a different point in time. So we're going to
Mhm.
get like different ranges of experience and stuff to talk about. I think it'll be really fun.
It's gonna be pretty great. I'm looking forward to talking about comics and Phasmagore burps into the microphone periodically. It'll be fantastic.
You know that ASMR, that's why we all come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who comes to Newgrounds for the cartoons, the comics, and the music? No.
Or even the informative material. No, it's all for the gross sounds.
Absolutely. God bless Newgrounds.